Geek Myths, a novel about life, love, and the pursuit of sonic screwdrivers. Available in paperback and Kindle edition from Amazon.
Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. This time talking about main range release from Big Finish, Black Thursday / Power Game. It's a 2-story release, I know. First story, Black Thursday, written by Jamie Anderson. Yeah, that Jamie Anderson. At I am Jamie Anderson. The second one, Power Game, written by Eddie Robson. Now, the Fifth Doctor's time with us was kind of littered with those lovely 2-parter adventures. You know, the sort of thing, we'll shove in at King's Demons here. And with it being on Monday and Tuesday nights on TV, if you missed 1 week of Doctor Who, you'd missed a whole story and had to wait practically decades for the VHS to come out. No repeats over here, I'll tell you that for nothing. So, having a 2-part Doctor Who story is absolutely fine, especially when it comes to the Tegan, Turlough and Kamelion set. Let's call it that. Now, last time we discussed, the intricacies of working with Kamelion, and that's fine. So here we've got 2 discs, 2 stories, and I'd like to call this particular set the liability set. Because let's face it, Kamelion is basically a huge liability. I mean, we might love the character, we might love the current performances, but as an emotionally weak character who can just be influenced by anyone left, right and centre and has very little of their own personality, you're not going to be in a good place when it comes to the Kamelion. And the whole point of this particular set was in order to develop characterisation and interaction between all of the characters, something that was not just lacking on TV but just actually didn't exist. So in story 1, tell you what, here's the synopsis for story 1. 1902, deep beneath a Welsh village, men have been working the black seam for generations until the day of the disaster. The day that a blue box from the future materialised inside the mine and things would never be the same again. You've got Jamie Anderson, yep, that Jamie Anderson, producing a glorious, well, let's use the word, pseudo-historical. Oh yeah. It's a major historical event, or indeed almost a fixed point in time. Obviously nobody's going to be talking like that. An event that happens, it's a mine disaster. Yeah, one of those realistic things. This would make really good TV story. Sort of thing that could be filmed almost studio bound, or go to one of the mining museums. There's a lovely one up our way, and they could sort of get there from Sheffield if they want. Anyway, if you wanted to do that, filming underground's not a problem. If ever you get the chance, this is you as a person, if ever you get the chance to visit a mining museum, absolutely take the opportunity. It's fascinating and terrifying, and it's living history, especially in the UK. Whether it's a sad thing that it's history or not, I'll leave the historians up to debate on that one. But let's face it, there's no denying that it was terrifyingly dangerous for everyone involved. So, we've got this brilliant story. Now, Jamie moved to Wales a few years ago, and he did some research into where he lived, and he found that there was indeed a mining disaster. And not only was there a mining disaster, but there was a pit close by, and he's taken those stories, turned them into some fiction. Now, what we've got here is, and don't see this as disparaging whatsoever, we've got Catherine Cookson does Doctor Who. Because if you remove too much of the science fiction elements, and let's face it, there's a hefty dose of sci-fi involved here, and I'm not going to go on about what it is, because that is a spoiler. But if you remove too much sci-fi, you end up with a family drama and something terrifying happening. And that's what you've got here. You've got a terrifying semi-natural occurrence. I mean, let's face it, your mine wouldn't collapse if they weren't mining. Yeah, that makes sense. But there's a mine disaster, and the Doctor's involved. But it's a two-part story, so it's straight in, straight out. No messing about, no extra levels of people being locked up and having to escape and this and that. None of that. It just goes straight through, narratively speaking. Two-part story, boomf, you're done. Cracking tale, much better than you would think, because, as you know from listening to me, not a great fan of the historical story. In the second part of the liability set, you've got Power Game. Here's the synopsis for that. Power Game by Eddie Robson. Synopsis. Welcome to the incredible Power Game, in which 3 brave Earthlings enter the void pit in search of strange gems to help return the alien Hostess to a home dimension. Today's contestants include Graham, Sadia, and Tegan, an air stewardess from Brisbane. Power Game is a lot more upbeat. It's a lot more lightweight, but it's not rubbish. By lightweight, I mean, it's not all incredibly depressing and dark. It's got a lot of heart to it. It's got a lot of things going on. For anyone who's ever enjoyed the Crystal Maze, or even, God forbid, I bring this up, the adventure game. Gronda. And... sorry, that was last week's clue. And if you were a fan of the adventure game, why isn't it on one of the strange challenge channels in the middle of the night? That would be so nice to see it come back. So, those sort of things. But then, of course, you've got the one thing that wouldn't have worked on TV, because there's reference to terrible computer graphics and really bad special effects. But on audio, you're in on the gag, you work with it. And the fact that this whole story takes place in York. Admittedly, there's no reference to Tegan saying that she visited York in another story earlier and the cathedral looked different, which would have been a nice throwaway remark. But you know what? I can forgive that. I genuinely can. Because that's not important. Well, it is to me, but you know what I mean. Cracking story, both of them. Great box set, and you do feel like you've got your money's worth because you've got 2 stories this month. Eddie Robson's produced a really great piece of narrative. 2 very different stories showing very different sides of the Fifth Doctor's time. But both equally great. Look, here's the trailer, and I'll let you decide for yourself. So until next time, where I'll probably be talking about Missy, be seeing you.
Doctor, it's starting!
Coming soon from Big Finish Productions. Doctor Who, Black Thursday and Power Game.
Hello humans, and welcome to the incredible Power Game.
Hi everyone. Not sure what I'm doing here, to be honest.
Dad!
What boy? Why have you stopped?
The lump! I saw the flame flicker.
But the thing is, it's not like a normal programme. It just sort of appears in the middle of others.
Like it's hijacking the signal?
Exactly.
Just above us is Abertysswg in the beautiful Welsh valleys.
If that's what's above us, where are we right now? Down a coal mine?
Do you like being underground?
It looks real, like I'm on a real alien planet.
Sadia, look out! There's a serpent!
Everybody out! Gosh! Everybody out!
Everybody out!
Big Finish. We love stories.
I think people are being taken and forced to participate in these games.
What for?
I don't know. That's why I'd like to watch more.
That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog Podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.